Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. So, since today is April 1st, I might as well review the original April Fool's Day from 1986. And I have reviewed the remake of April Fool's Day on this channel already. So check that out. I did that a while ago, I think this year. I watched it for the first time, and this one I've seen before. This version, April Fool's Day. And this is one of those slasher movies that I really enjoy, despite the fact that it's not what you expect it to be in terms of the genre, in terms of what kind of movie it is by the end. Because April Fool's Day, the basic plot of this is there's this character, Muffy, who is planning a party for her friends at this estate that she is inheriting from her family. And then they start getting killed off. And it's got the typical slasher formula. Like, it's these characters are sit on a location that's isolated. They're gonna get killed off. And it's a basic plot for a slasher. And with those things I do enjoy, but the ending is what I enjoy the most, which I'll get to. But I like how this also is, again, like, it's a Paramount release produced by Frank Mancuso, who directed a lot of the who produced a lot of the Friday the 13th movies, and also has Amy Steele in it as Kit, who is the final girl in the movie. So this really has a lot of Friday the 13th connections as well. Like I said, same studio, same producer. The actress who played Ginny is back. That's really awesome. I do like how this has a lot of similarities to that, and it looks like it would be a Friday the 13th movie in terms of how the film looks. I like that as well too. And I really do like how the movie, since it's called April Fool's Day, it is definitely set on having pranks. Like, these characters prank each other throughout the movie, and I like that as a standpoint for the mandatory, like, kills and jump scares. I really like how they integrated in the pranks, because that actually makes you have you have to have the mandatory jump scares and kills, and the jump scares are usually made from the pranks. And I do like that. I like that they did a different type of cliche with these jump scares, because they add pranks that, like, for example, at the beginning of the movie on the ferry, where, like, one guy, it looks like he gets smashed by a boat in the water, and, like, his eye's gone, and, like, he's just pranking them. And then a guy throws a knife into another guy, and, like, he's just pranking them too. And it's like it's giving the audience its like jump scare factor, even though nothing happens, or like they don't die, they're just pranking them. But I like that they integrated that in, as opposed to just a lot of other slashers where they have jump scare moments that don't really fit into the overall story, but this one does fit with all these pranks that they're doing. So I did think that was really actually very well done in this movie for a slasher. And all the characters in this are actually really colorful and really memorable. I really like all these characters. And again, it's got a Friday the 13th feel, because they have all these characters that feel like everyday kids. Like, they don't feel like they're not realistic. Like, I do like all these kids. They're so fun and so enjoyable. Like, I really love Kit. She's a good final girl. I really like all the other characters. Muffy's great. The two guys who act feminine towards each other are really funny. And the girl Nikki, who's kind of a jerk, but she's funny, she's good too. All these characters have such memorable, like fun performances. They're all likable, and I really do like that. And I like how also there isn't an asshole character in the group either. Unless you count Nikki, kind of, where she's just kind of a sarcastic person, but she's not like a bitch character. Like, she's not like one of those stereotypical, like, jerk characters that are involved with these groups. I like that this is just a group of friends, literally a group of friends that are really good friends with each other. They don't have to have this bitchy, like, asshole character that comes along and, like, kind of ruins their day. I like that this is just their friends. That's really cool. And I don't see that much in horror, because usually they have a character in the mix that's usually a big jerk, and, like, this one didn't have that either. That's pretty awesome. And I really like the actress who played Muffy. I thought that she was actually really, really good. She has a great development of, like, starting out as, like, a somewhat normal girl, and, like, she has, like, flashbacks of, like, her childhood. Remember, she gets, like, this Jack-in-the-Box, and she seems really nice and really wonderful to everybody, but then as the movie goes along, she gets more and more Like you get way more suspicious of this character. Like what is up with her? Because she starts acting really odd, and it is awesome because Kit, the final girl, is great because the way that she thinks of it too is like she's kind of catching on to Muffy's trail. Like she thinks that like there's something up with Muffy. What is she doing? And I really like Kit as a final girl because she is very the way that she is. She thinks logically about this situation towards the end of the movie. Like whenever they're all together in the house before after a couple people are killed, like she's just sitting there like she's trying to figure out a logical way to resolve this and not get anybody else killed. And I like how smart she was as a character. I really like Kit. She really tries to set everything up in perspective as opposed to just being rational and like freaking out. I really like that a lot. She's great. And again, Amy Steele is awesome in this movie, just like she was in Friday the 13th Part 2. I love how this is a great. She's a great final girl in both of these movies. She's so likable and charming, and she just has such great. Like, she's a smart character, too, in both of these movies. Like, she's not the dumb, like, final character in horror. Like, I like that she's very smart in both of these. And then as the movie gets towards the end, and this is where, big spoilers, if you have not seen this movie, do not, like, if you've watched this up until now, do not watch the rest of this if you have not seen this movie. I want people to not know this twist. Because honestly, this is one of the coolest twists I think of in any horror movie. I love this twist. And it's so obvious, but I love this twist. But first, there's a pseudo twist that I like where Kit and Final Guy, I forgot what Final Guy's name is. Final Guy, whatever his name is. They're both like the last ones left, and they find this thing where it says Muffy and Buffy, and then Kit's like, of course, Buffy's got an evil twin. And it was kind of out of nowhere, but I did like that because it kind of plays into like their kind of paranoia of like, what is going on? Like, and you think it's like going to be a big revelation, but no, it's not that. The real twist is that nobody dies in this movie. Nobody literally dies. And it's so obvious whenever you watch it the second time because you don't see anybody on screen get killed. You see their final moments of being alive and then it cuts away. And yeah, it could also be in connection to the MPAA really screwing over all these slasher movies in the late 80s, but it really makes perfect sense that like you don't see any character die, you don't see any gore really, and nobody actually died in the movie. And Muffy is setting this up as like a test run for this kind of funhouse thing she'd do at this estate, where like she'd earn money to try to live like at this house, because if not, her parents are gonna sell the estate like to somebody else if she can't handle it. And I just thought that was really incredible of a twist because here we are in the 80s with all of these slashers, millions of slashers, dime a dozen slashers that came out in the 80s. And we've got one that did something really different where like it is in essence a slasher on the base level, but then when you get to the end you realize it isn't and nobody dies. Like, I love that. I think that's one of the coolest twists in any horror movie I've ever seen. I think that is honestly incredible, and it just blows me away just rewatching again how cool of a twist it was. And it was so fun to have these characters who are really likable and really great to live at the end of the movie. Like, nobody dies. That's awesome. So I love that twist. It's so great. But then we get another twist, and this is like something like Happy Birthday to Me, where like we have like 5 twists at once. But there's this twist at the end where Buffy's like sitting there with the Jack in the Box, and then somebody slits her throat, and you're like, oh shit. And then no, it's just Nan like having this knife with like a pump blood on the end, and like Muffy's just like, and like she just realizes she's still alive. And then like you see like this little jester toy, and it winks at the camera, and then the movie ends. And I just thought that was a great way to end it, with a final jump scare, because she doesn't die. But again, the jump scares in this are very well done, because in essence with slasher movies, people are wanting jump scares, people are wanting kills. And the way they did that in this movie to deceive the audience but make them still love it, I think is incredible. And it just blows me away with this movie. I really loved April Fool's Day again and rewatch. Really loved the characters, really loved the twist, really loved everything about it. I thought this was an awesome rewatch. So yeah, April Fool's Day was great on rewatch. So I really, really loved it. So tell me down below what you guys think of April Fool's Day. And thank you guys so much for watching.